Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Cheers! We talk about one of the great all-time sitcoms, according to pretty much every great all-time sitcom list there is. Cheers! We had two of our returning guests for this one. Brett White from pretty much anything television and nerdery. And Ange Demanti, who is a television. This was not my best intro.
You may love a thing that I can't stand. Spiders, tofu, watching Homeland. Our interests are all varying. It's fun to be contrarian. But I'll try things that you all love to see if I can rise above. But maybe there's a chance that I just won't. So in that case, don't mind if I don't.
Welcome to Don't Mind If I Don't. Hey, I'm your host, Aaron Gold. This is the show where I don't like things, and fans and experts come on and show me why I'm wrong, and then I grow as a person, and then my heart expands, and then I become an adult, I think. Whatever, I'll become a thing. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. Shut up. Today we're talking about the classic TV show Cheers, a show... And we've got two guests that are on today. First of all, welcome back to the show, reporter for Decider and host of Must Have Seen TV podcast, Brett White.
Hello, back again.
I wanted to announce you like the SNL guy,
Don Pardo.
Don Pardo. Brett White.
And then I'm turning to the camera, I'm in a booth. And I'm like, hi.
Yeah, but like you were in the middle of something.
Yeah, I was talking to the wife that's going to murder me later. That makes watching those old Phil Hartman years hard because his wife is in the opening credits.
Oh, no.
We're starting this off on a bad foot. That's where my mind went.
Oh,
Sorry,
boy.
I love Phil Hartman.
Oh, man. I mean, we all did.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I felt very similar to Chris Benoit, but then we can't talk about that anymore. Anyway, also joining us, writer, wandering soul, and, quote, total horndog for Ted Danson, end quote, Ange Demanti.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Does your horndogginess continue through to The Good Place?
I
Hey,
actually
better.
find him more attractive on The Good Place.
Good.
I can see that,
Good.
yeah.
Yes. No. Like, I mean, Ted.
Fine wine.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I know that we're talking about trying to convince me to like the show Cheers. I've always loved Ted Danson. He is not the issue.
He's the primo ballerino of sitcom acting.
Yes,
he makes it look so easy, but what he's doing is us mortals can't.
Yes.
Yeah,
he is focused. He is laser tight. Like
Comparing
he's amazing.
Good Place and Cheers is so fascinating because what he's doing on Cheers looks easy, but also like expected because he's playing just like the machismo stereotypical male role. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, he's good at that. But then you watch Good Place and he's playing. Watch it, and you'll see. But it's so much more nuanced and subtle, and like he can. Every word he says has like dual meanings.
Yeah.
It's also like nuanced and shit. It's amazing.
Also, like, did you guys? We'll talk about Cheers in a second, but first, this is just fun. Let's stay in this good place of the Good Place. Did you guys read the article about the stuff that Ted Danson does?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Of course.
I want to see him and Jeff Goldblum have like a buddy comedy or whatever.
I want to
Just
see
delightful
him
older man.
as my
Jeff
father.
Goldblum also, I'm all horned up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
like long pant-covered legs.
Jeff Goldblum gives me so much hope for myself as an aging Jew. Like, I'm like, if he can do it, okay, it's at least within the realm of possibility for me. All right, so everything on the show gets rated on a scale of 0 to -10. 0 being my ambivalence, -10 being blood-curdling hatred. Cheers. You guys had recommended a lot of shows, a lot of episodes, and I watched 6 of them.
Which ones?
Coach's Daughter, Boys in the Bar from season 1, both of those. From season 4, Dark Imaginings. From season 5, Thanksgiving Orphans and Dinner at 8-ish. And then from season 6, To All the Girls I've Loved Before.
Okay.
Before I started watching, I was at a -3. Now that I've watched all of those, I'm at like a -2 or -1. Like it's good. It's pretty good. Like
because like the premise for this podcast is convince you to like things that you hate
or just don't care about.
Okay, because if you actively hated Cheers,
yeah,
I would be morally offended. I'm kind of already morally offended that this episode even needs to exist because you like comedy and Dan Harmon, who is greatly influenced by Cheers.
Let me explain. First of all, so old. It's just old. There's old things. Ew. There's dust on this show.
It is the brownest show that television has ever
there's
produced.
so much brown.
Yeah,
It's so old that the intro makes it look even older. Yeah. The intro says, you know what? This show isn't old enough. Let's dial it back a couple decades.
They were thinking like far in the future, but like we got to make this.
Yeah, let's make this less accessible. I'm very tired.
Less accessible.
No, my issue was that I just kind of found like the premise a little boring. I assumed it would be dated, and I assumed that the comedy would just be very obvious, and a lot of the times it is. And also just fuck laugh tracks.
No. Cheers was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
We're both gonna.
What the fuck wasn't
here? No, but like a lot of things. The power of a live audience, which I've written about like way too much because I'm very, very, very pro actual live audiences that are not sweetened, that are actually like that are actually like the audiences button. Actually like, because you watch like I Dream of Jeannie or Bewitched, all those shows, Brady Bunch, that is literally canned laughter. They're performing for a fucking vacuum. Shows like Cheers and specifically like Frasier, Friends, all of those shows. When you're watching a great episode like Thanksgiving Orphans, you are seeing these live stage performers feeding off of like it creates a really positive feedback loop that like informs the performances, maybe shifts them, maybe changes them. I really also love the idea of like being a writer on the set, like watching them tape, and be like, that joke didn't do it. Come up with something on the fly, and then testing all that stuff out in front of an audience and like building that relationship. There's also something really interesting about the way that taped in front of an audience plays with space, which I think Cheers is masterful at doing, because the first season, it is all on the bar.
It's just bottle episodes.
They never leave the bar.
I will tell you this, because I knew very little about Cheers going into it. I love a fucking bottle episode.
Yeah,
I'll eat that shit up, and that is most of Cheers.
Yeah, that's like 85%
I really
of
respect.
The thing is, you don't notice. I did not notice it until the end of season 1. I marathoned the first 3 seasons in 3 days.
Natch.
By the way, I just want to say this now, 7 minutes into the podcast. Spoiler alert. We're gonna, if you haven't seen Cheers, we're gonna reveal like a lot. I'm gonna be asking about like specific overarching plot points. So you've been warned.
A lot of twists and turns.
There are a couple.
I say like I did not realize until the end of season 1 that I was like, oh, they've never left the bar. Like if you count like the pool room in the back and like Sam's office as being different sets, I guess they do, air quote, leave the bar, but not really.
Yeah.
But you never notice it because all of the character games are so on point from episode 1.
It's incredible. Have you seen the pilot?
I saw the pilot a couple of years ago.
It is perfect. It is a work of art.
Yeah.
Like,
of just being a perfect, like, here is the show.
Yeah, and also like, okay, here's your character that's going to introduce everyone else. And then like, the character games are already locked in. It's incredible.
It's so rare to see that happen. Because like Seinfeld's pilot, like Kramer's a little weird. Elaine isn't there. Like the Parks and Rec pilot is
disaster.
Like all the characters are not right yet.
Yeah.
I really like, in my opinion, it's like Cheers and Friends are the 2 shows that like know who all their characters are from episode 1, and they just like go for it.
Even Cliff, who wasn't meant to be a regular.
Yeah, that is the best thing.
Yeah.
Wait, Cliff wasn't the mailman?
No.
Cliff.
John Ratzenberger went into audition for Norm.
Yeah.
And he
wasn't right for it.
And he felt like he wasn't going to get it. So as he was leaving, he turns around and he says to the casting directors, you guys have like a know-it-all on the bar, right? And they're like, what? And he's like, well, every bar has like a know-it-all. They just like spouts off all these facts. And I'm like, no. And then he like basically did Cliff for them. And then in season 1, he's not a regular. He's in every episode, but he's not the opening credits.
Yeah, and until season 2. Like, he's listed as a guest star.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where the writers would just be like, yeah, let him make up whatever facts.
Awesome. Oh, so they Neil Flynned him. From Scrubs, the janitor.
Oh, I always say Neil Flynn. I think of like the musician.
No. Neil Flynn, the janitor on Scrubs.
Yeah, down in the middle.
Yeah, he. Oh, come on now.
That's also why
we don't need to bring the middle into this. That's a different podcast episode. Yeah, he was so funny, and then oftentimes would just go say whatever he wanted to, and like the writers would be like, "That's better than ours."
Yeah.
So after a while, they just started writing. Neil says something funny in the script and just let him go.
Also did that with Robin Williams for Mork and Mindy.
Of course. Yeah.
Because
so how could you contain him?
Yeah. No script
like, all right,
can contain.
go.
He doesn't know how to like memorize anything.
Yeah.
No, and he doesn't need to.
Too much cocaine.
Diane sucks.
No.
Yeah, she does.
No.
Take it away.
Okay. So Shelley Long did a fucking phenomenal job.
Let me say something. Shelley Long does not suck.
Right.
The character of Diane sucks.
No, she doesn't.
She nailed it.
She nailed it, and I feel like she made Diane likable enough, and I feel like that would be such a fucking fun
it's so
role
fun
to play.
I will say, like, she sucks in the way, like, a lot of these, they're all like borderline shitty people.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, they're all like, and the Thanksgiving Orphans is one of my favorite episodes because of the way of Diane's role in that. Like, the way that she, like, aggressively, like, forces Carla into hosting a Thanksgiving that she's not going to go to because she's going to a highfalutin thing. Turns out she's just a help. And then when she shows up and everyone, like, realizes how, like, kind of, like, embarrassed she is, I love the food fight. On my podcast, we talked about Thanksgiving Orphans, and I suggest everyone go listen to that after this because it was 2 hours. My guest Taylor Moore suggested that we get drunk. About 30 minutes in, we hit pause, down 3 beers, and then came back, and then the podcast just went off the rails in a great way from there. But he brought up the point of that food fight is so symbolic of, like, Diane is trying to keep all these people from being what they want to be, which are messy assholes who love each other. And Diane is like, no, we're going to, like, do this, you're going to do this. And then Sam, like, throwing those cranberries on her face is Sam being like, I know you. You are one of us. You are also messy. Mm-hmm. You need to, like, cut loose. And then the fact that she
loves it.
And then she loves it. And then they have that live food fight, which in front of a live audience is like, so beautiful.
And that food fight was perfect. Like that was very well executed.
Seeing, like, the anticipation on all the actors' faces too. Like, clearly they're like trying not to, like, bounce in their seats because they're like so excited that they get to do this.
They can only do that in one take.
Yeah.
They have
and
one
they nailed that one.
Yeah.
They
I mean, like, Ted
one.
Danson almost, I think, falls. Like, he, like, slips and almost
like,
hits
they're just, like, having the best time.
Yeah. But I think that I also think that Diane's role in The Boys in the Bar, the Gay Panic episode.
Okay, that's the most I liked her.
Is so... The writers use her to make all of these... The writers do this weird thing where, like, the writers make fun of Diane, but also the writers are as smart as Diane because they are writing all those opera references. So also they know that stuff. This wasn't like they had Wikipedia to go look up. This is all knowledge they had to have on hand.
Like, we went to college.
Yeah. So it's weird that the show, like, treats her negatively when, like, the writers, you guys kind of are Diane. But I love that episode because it frames... everything. Like, if you take Diane out of The Boys in the Bar, it is a homophobic episode through and through. And Carla and Cliff and Norm are bigots, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But the way that Diane, when she says like, yeah, we should go string them up, when they're all like pointing out, those guys over there aren't reacting to us talking about boxing, and Diane, like, calls out, yeah, why don't you go lynch them? Like, that's what you guys want to do? She's so good in that moment.
And also, I feel that there's a lot of Diane's DNA in Lilith.
Yeah.
Wait, Lilith was Christy Alley?
No, Lilith is BB Newirth. You saw some of those.
You saw Dinner Date.
Yes. Frasier's wife.
Lilith was amazing.
Yeah, Lilith is great.
She fucking killed.
Does she carry over into Frasier?
Yeah, she's on probably a dozen episodes of Frasier across the entire series.
Oh, that's a shame because she's amazing.
What, do you hate Frasier too?
I'm not crazy about it. I'll do a Frasier episode later, but like Angie just shot me such a disappointing
I've actually
look.
never seen Frasier.
Oh, so that was just you looking at me.
That's just my resting, I'm going to kill you face. Because I'm so ready for you to say something where I want to kill you.
Every single surviving actor on Cheers appears on Frasier at one point.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like, if you look on the Wikipedia page for the character Sam Malone, they will say last appearance, his guest starring role on Frasier.
Yeah. So I was jumping around a lot with these. I watched these in order, but as I jumped forward, like I was like, oh, Woody Harrelson is here now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just playing dumb Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point where his character name is Woody.
Which was a coincidence.
Yeah, they already named it. Yeah, and like right when he was walking in the room, he had to sneeze and blow his nose, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, and he had like that small town kid vibe, and they're like, "This is him. That's it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he replaced Coach, who passed away after the end of the third season.
Did pass away. That's why I was going to ask.
He's not in like the back half of season. Is it season 3 or season 2? He's in the first 3 seasons.
It's it's up to through season 3.
Yeah. So he's not in the last couple of episodes of season 3.
Because it's season 4 and 5 where there's Woody, but not
the best. My favorite era is Woody Diane overlap.
Same.
Because my hot take is I hate Rebecca.
I'm not big on Rebecca.
Rebecca's Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley.
I think that she's a terrible character, especially compared to Diane. And also, I feel like all the writers are like refiguring out everyone's dynamics. And like for a while, Sam like gets nervous around women, and it's like, no.
Why did Diane leave?
She long thought she was going to have a movie career, right?
Yeah, and you know, TBH. To be honest,
I know what that stands for.
But it also stands for Troop Beverly Hills.
Oh, there you go. To be honest,
get out of my show.
Troop Beverly Hills.
TBH happened.
Yeah, she is actually great in that.
She's great in the Brady Bunch movies.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I love her.
Why did she leave Cheers? So she thought she was going to have a movie career?
Yeah, and it was back in the day when not all television was super fantastic.
Right.
And there's a clear divide, and it's kind of like if you see the like movie star like I don't know, ship coming, and you're in like the TV dinghy, you're like, I got to get to that. I got to save my life and get on that big ship.
So how did they write her off? Like, because the last I saw of her, she and Sam had finally were like, you know what, we're fucking.
So Sumner comes back.
Oh,
Sumner,
who's the guy that she's with in the pilot episode?
Yeah, and
gotcha.
gets jilted, and he like proposes that she can like write this book and get it published, and then she has to leave the bar to write a book, and she's like, it's only going to be 6 months.
It's really beautiful how it's done.
And Sam says, hey, have a good life, and she's like, no, that's, you don't say that because I'm going to see you. And then she closes the door and leaves, and then he says to himself, have a good life, and like he knows
it's
that
really well. That's Ted Danson, the Good Place actor. Like he also like the last shot of the entire series of like him like turning off the lights in the bar where like he goes and he's who is the actor that played Coach? Why is my brain blanking on this?
Costello, Ernie.
I think it was Abbott Costello.
Yeah, it was Abbott Costello played.
I keep want to say Pantuso, but that is his name.
Yeah, it's Ernie Pantuso.
Ernie Hudson.
Okay.
Nicholas Colasanto had a framed photo of Geronimo in his dressing room, and after he passed away, they moved that to the bar wall. So it is on the back, like the very, very back of the bar, in like the sitting area that's like behind up those stairs. They never go back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a photo of that. In the very last episode, everyone's left the bar, and Sam was like doing the rounds one more time. He goes and he straightens that photo. And this is 8 years after he died. I mean, he died at the end of season 3. This is season 11. And then he turns off the light. And then also in Thanksgiving Orphans, when they're doing that round of cheers
for all our friends that aren't here right now,
covered in mess. And then they just say to Coach. Yeah. And it is like they don't dwell on it. They just do it. The memory of the show and the way that it is brave enough to be sentimental, but not in a treacly, like Full Housey way.
Yeah.
It is sentimental the way that like we as adult humans are sentimental.
Sentimental in like Coach's Daughter.
Oh my god!
Where you start watching it and you're like, oh, why am I
comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
that was the first episode I watched. That was season 1, episode 5.
5th episode of the entire series.
And I got to tell you, my notes for that were like 10 minutes in, I hadn't even smiled. Like I found the comedy very obvious in that episode. Of all the episodes I watched, that was my least favorite. But
then
that dramatic change was fantastic. Lisa and Coach's talk was solid, if not a bit dated, because all of his compliments are about, no, you're attractive. You are my daughter. Your best value is your looks. But like, also fucking her engaged to that broke ass Bradley Whitford. He wasn't even good at being like
the 80s villain.
Yeah, he was just. It was just.
There's an episode of Golden Girls where Blanche's daughter comes back and she's with the guy that goes on to play the best friend in Murphy Brown. I can't remember what his name is. The tall, bald guy on Murphy Brown, Frank Fontana.
Okay. Oh yeah,
he plays that role and he's great at being an asshole.
Yeah,
but that turn, I love that because Coach is he's so honest and like wide-eyed and like.
He's like a child.
The way that they are talking, it's so deep and so beautiful how she's saying, yeah, I look too much like mom, and we both know mom wasn't pretty. Like, that's what she's saying. And as soon as she says those words, he takes the focus and is like, oh my God, you're beautiful. And you can see, you see like, you see
like his entire marriage.
50 years of marriage like wash over his eyes just looking at his daughter and the way that she turns and is like, yeah, she was never comfortable with how good she looked.
Yeah. And you can see her seeing that. Like that's where.
And just like that compassion. Like
I remember watching because I grew up, I did not watch Cheers. Like I think we are maybe on like a pH scale. Did you always grow up watching Cheers?
I remember watching it in syndication.
Okay.
Before Nick at Night, but like when it was on it was like still on the air, but like
so
they'd
like
show the reruns.
Episodes, they get to that. Yeah.
I think I was watching it a little bit because what year did it end? Like early 90s?
93.
Yeah. I think my parents watched it or my mom watched it and I would catch, some of it, but I just didn't pay too much attention.
My parents did not watch it. And so I didn't watch it. And then I remember it coming on reruns, and like it said, like it is the brownest show ever, and like the opening credits are not enticing to a child, like at all.
They're not enticing to me as an adult.
I mean, now
no. Now, like when I binge watched it,
I don't skip. You have to.
You do not skip.
Hold on.
It sets the mood.
The opening cinematic is boring as shit. That opening song though is wonderful. That's almost like it's like entering Billy Joel's mindscape. It's just very
the theme
calming.
song is like my heart. Like it's so beautiful.
Theme song is great.
Just like
I don't like the intro art, but I
do
the
like
intro
how
song.
all the intro art corresponds. It has the corresponding like 19th century version of that actor.
Oh
which is
yeah,
really
I love
cool.
that.
I love
Even though the shot of Woody Harrelson's guy is actually in a barbershop. Not a bar.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
So I grew up not watching Cheers at all, and I didn't like. It's 2013. I had this sinus surgery, so I was like laid out for a week recovering, and I was like,
I don't know why I left it.
I guess
sorry.
I had bought like
your pain.
I had bought all these. Like, I'm going to watch Game of Thrones and Homeland. I'm going to do all this, and then Cheers is on Netflix. Like, I'll watch some Cheers. I watched 3 seasons of Cheers in 3 days.
Yeah.
So watching for the first time, and Coach's Daughter is the 5th episode,
and you're like, "What the fuck?"
And it's like, how do they have the confidence to do this?
and they nail it. And the season finale of season 1.
Oh, the slap fight they get into?
That's season 2 finale.
It's season 1 because then season 2 is them dating.
No, season 2 is dating.
Yeah.
Wait, Sam and Diane?
Sam and Diane.
Maybe it's season 3, the slap fight, because it is season 3. Because season 1 is the "Are you as turned on as I am?" And like, because the flirting is relentless and it builds, and you're like, "Oh, come on!"
I wanted to bring up because you said like it being like a worn premise and like kind of old comedy, which I think is true now, but I think when you look in the totally, because like
in the context, no, I totally get that it was revolutionary, but I'm talking about now, me in the year 2018. How do I become a fan of Cheers now? Like I can't go like, oh man, that was really funny 40 years ago. Like
it's
I
really
can't
interesting
do that.
to think about how when Cheers came on, they were like, people don't like bad people go to bars. Like the fact that Cheers did so much to normalize just going to a bar is fascinating.
Because like on paper, hey, this is about a recovering alcoholic owning a bar. His glory days are over. His former coach is kind of losing his mind. And these people are constantly at this bar.
Yeah.
Is really depressing.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's not about the bar, it's about the relationships. And it's a they are a family.
Yeah, no. It's and I love a good forged family show.
And that's definitely what
or found family.
Yeah, what this
absolutely is. To be honest, I mean, we're halfway through, but this might be a shorter episode because I was like, oh yeah, this ain't bad. I think it was at dinner at 8-ish after the whole conversation about the dip. And then Sam keeps on bringing up the dip and just the silent communication between Frasier and Lilith.
God.
And I was like, fuck, I think I like Cheers. I can't cancel the episode.
Yes.
Hold on. No, I do still have issues.
Okay.
We haven't. You still have work to do, Demanti.
Listen, if you liked that dip exchange, I have dinner at 8-ish downloaded on my phone.
Oh, man.
So if I have insomnia and I wake up and I know I'm not going to be able to fall asleep, I sit in bed and I watch dinner at 8-ish. And every time someone goes into the bathroom after a hissy fit, I laugh and laugh. And then when they sit at the piano and they sing,
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Like that.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Okay, couple questions just about the plot. How do they write Coach off?
When they come back for season 4, Woody walks into the bar because he is Coach's pen pal.
Yeah.
And he comes back in and is like, hey, I'm Coach's pen pal from Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm just wanting to, is he around? And they said, oh no, Coach passed a couple months ago. So they just say that. Then he's looking for a job, so they give him a job. And,
Yeah.
And he has this tie to Coach, which also makes sense because it's the dummy torch has been passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dummy torch.
Man. Yeah. And Woody Harrelson, fuck, he's good at playing an idiot. Man,
Yeah.
he's really a charming idiot.
Yeah.
And how did they introduce Frasier? Because all of a sudden I just turned on, I'm like, oh, there's Frasier.
So after the end of season 2, when Sam and Diane break up, also great acting from Ted Danson in the season 2 finale when he looks at the painting. I won't get in.
I feel like I should watch all the season premieres and finales.
Well, you should watch all of it.
This is maybe one of the first sitcoms that actually did ongoing arcs and also did Will They, Won't They?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what I did. I love a through line, and I expected Cheers to be a lot more episodic, or at least the arcs to be very minor. But no, they really
over seasons, and
and I love that. I was like, shit, I might have to cancel this episode.
Diane goes to a mental institution.
What?
Because Sam drives her crazy.
Because clearly, Sam was.
Or is this? It's not the. No, it's a mental institution, not the convent, because that's another.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah. And then Frasier is her psychiatrist.
Oh no, Frasier.
And then they start dating, and she comes back to the bar with Frasier, who suddenly is just always there.
Yeah, they Kelsey Grammer was living in his car at the time. I love Kelsey Grammer's life is fascinating.
He's bananas.
His dad was murdered.
Whoa.
And because when John Mahoney died,
that's bad grammar.
I looked up to see because Kelsey Grammer tweeted out he was always a father to me, his father and Frasier. So I was like, oh, what was Kelsey Grammer's relationship like with his real dad? And I was like, oh, murdered when he was a teenager. Okay. And then Kelsey Grammer is addicted to substance abuse problems, living in his car, auditioned to play Frasier.
Also
nailed it, and then his life changed.
He was in rehearsals for a workshop production of the Stephen Sondheim show Sunday in the Park with George. Mandy Patinkin, who starred in that show, had lunch with the casting director of Cheers and said this guy should audition. So Mandy Patinkin is responsible for Frasier.
Which once again proves my point that Mandy Patinkin is the greatest of us all.
Puppet master.
Yeah.
So Frasier was only supposed to be a recurring character, and he doesn't become a regular basically when Diane leaves the show, they realize oh, Frasier can just do literally all those jokes.
Oh,
they need the smarty pants jokes.
Yeah, so they didn't really. I mean, it's okay, we'll miss you, Diane. You're great, but also we aren't missing any. It's when Cordelia leaves Buffy, they just give all of her stuff to Anya, and it's equally great. Oh man. Anyway,
I just got instantly sad about Anya dying.
Yes,
that. That is between that and the sexism stuff, I don't think I can forgive Joss Whedon. Let's see here.
But he would like show up to set drunk, slurring his words.
Yeah.
The camera would roll and he would like switch Frasier on and then go back to like, bleh.
Really?
Yeah.
He showed up that fucked up?
Yeah.
God
He's
damn,
kind of a
Frasier.
mess.
But then, so after the finale, there was a live interview
On Jay Leno, right?
and
On
Jay
Tonight
Leno.
Show.
They went to the Bull and the Finch, which was based off of Cheers, and then they changed the bar name to Cheers later.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the show wrapped 6 months before, and so no one had seen each other, and they had an open bar
For the cast of Cheers.
For the cast of Cheers for 3 hours. So Jay Leno is trying to conduct an interview with a plastered cast where like they have like water guns.
I need to watch that. It's
And
on
they're-
YouTube? I need to
it's
see
not
all.
YouTube, but I'll send you a link.
I need
This is
to
the
see
first
that.
time anybody has mentioned a thing involving Jay Leno that I'm like, I want to see
But it's
that.
also because it's a bunch of people antagonizing.
Yeah, and, and
the
he's
best.
like just trying to keep it together, and they're just like wasted. And Kirstie Alley couldn't make that party, so like they
Xenu wouldn't let her, I bet.
so they
Oh
sent.
no, not Kirsty.
Oh, no. So she sends a video where she sings a song where all the lyrics are just dick, 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 dick.
What the?
And then Kelsey Grammer is the only sober one.
Oh, whoa.
So he's just like,
He's
has
like,
it
I have a show
together.
coming out in the fall. I need to have my shit
Yeah.
together.
And when they did a survey of like, oh, what character would you want to see a spin-off of Cheers from, Frasier got 2% of the votes.
Yeah.
Why did they go with Frasier then?
I think he was the only one who was willing to do it.
I think he's also the one that plucks out more, like, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not so like you didn't really know anything about. I mean, like, according to Cheers, the show, he doesn't have any siblings and his parents are dead.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they changed
they
that.
retconned that to be
Oh,
like
they just retconned it?
he was lying. Like,
Oh.
they ran as like Frasier was kind of ashamed and just didn't lie. They do. There's a really fun joke in an episode of Frasier where it's like this offhanded comment that Roz, Frasier's co-host, makes, where she's talking to Frasier's blue collar dad, and Frasier's brother Niles, also his wife was Maris, who was like a stern, basically like Lilith. Like she was like Lilith times 10. And there's this really cool moment where Roz is like, oh my God, Martin, for a while your daughters-in-law were Lilith and Maris. And it's this really fun retroactive continuity moment where like Frasier is acknowledging the history of the very brief window from like 8 years earlier where Frasier on another show was married to another character.
Yeah.
But
It's really because you get to see like 20 years of Frasier Crane's life, which is so crazy. For a
how many
sitcom.
seasons did Frasier?
Frasier ran
last?
for 11 years too.
God damn it!
He was on Cheers for 8 years, and he was on Frasier for 11.
Yeah.
20-year Frasier.
Yeah.
I need to describe something else in my life as a 20-year Frasier.
Yeah, like that needs to be a hashtag.
Yeah, I feel like it feels like a good 20-year Frasier. Okay, the first big laugh the show got out of me was on Dark Imaginings, which was season 4 of
Can I
19.
guess?
Yes.
Who's not going to get it?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
but that
That's
did
good,
make
that's
me
good.
that did get a big laugh out of me.
Okay.
No, it was Sam jumping over the counter after
Yeah.
Woody did it just
Oh,
perfectly.
yeah.
And Sam doing the blatant
Yeah.
You're someone famous.
Yeah. Ted Danson, the end of this sentence. Like, I mean, just Ted Danson is the best.
Also, because before Woody on that show, many times he would sit on the bar and then swing his legs around to get to the other side.
Yeah.
And Ted Danson.
Wow.
Has these,
Our podcast listeners, I cannot
The
describe
vapors.
the amount of fluttering Angela Demanti's eyes just did. They are still in mid-flutter. Her face is getting redder.
because I'm thinking of Ted Danson's legs, and when they swing over, like it's just like, and he's wearing like cords, and it's like, what are you wearing? And so many rugby shirts and like ridiculous sweaters, but
Are you crying?
I'm not.
Are Ted Danson's legs making you cry?
They're
Understandable.
just like so great. And there's a scene where
What is happening to you? This is beyond lust. This is an affliction.
Yes, these legs.
He's got them dancing legs.
And there's when he puts one leg up, whatever is resting on behind the bar, and you see his knee, and he leans on his knee to like just listen to whoever's at the bar. And then there's
what the fuck is happening to you?
And then
you're literally fanning yourself right now.
And then there's an episode where he does a charity baseball game, and then he's in his baseball uniform, and he's in the back room at the pool table, and his legs are propped up, and they're just, how do they even fit his legs in the shot?
What is this?
And then there's also an episode where John Cleese guest stars, and both of them are in.
What?
They're both in Sam's office, and they both have their legs propped up, and it's like there's just so much legs in one shot.
Who are you? I've been to your house so many times.
You're seeing a different side. I like this Rolodex of moments.
I've known you for years, and I've never seen you that horned up.
Well, it's one of our jobs, is being a horn dog for Ted Danson.
It is.
I get all horned up for Ted Danson's legs.
You know what? You being a horn dog for Ted Danson is the most accurate intro I've ever had on this show.
Like, specifically,
you being a horn dog for Ted Danson is more real than Brett writing for Decider.
Yeah.
And that is your job.
Yeah, that's my job.
But this is her life.
Like, just... And you don't even, like, you only see his legs.
You've got a full 20-year phrase over these legs.
Yeah. You see his legs in season 2, episode 1, when he's in his boxers getting ready to bone Diane. But
stuffed animal filled apartment.
Yeah. But
of course.
When you just see...
Can I talk about John Ratzenberger?
Yeah.
who I have a crush on.
A man in uniform.
Unironically, you do full on.
Of course, yeah. I can't help it.
Is it the accent?
That's my
Is it the
type.
stash?
I like a good round-headed, mustachioed man. He's just adorable. I can't help it. He's just the cutest, and he is so okay. On one hand, he is so pathetic.
Yeah,
and I love that. The episode. Oh, we should have told
the Halloween episode.
Halloween episode
where he has a little.
Where he dresses up as Ponce de Leon because he goes to Florida. In between seasons 2 and 3, and when he comes back in season 3, he just doesn't stop talking about Florida for the entire season, which he went to alone.
Yeah,
he has like all these slides and stuff.
Such a great reoccurring.
And it's so great. And then he had this like Halloween costume. He dresses up like Ponce de Leon, and he meets this woman who's dressed like a fairy, right? It's
like
a
Tinkerbell.
Fairy. Yeah, and they're both wearing masks, and they
I
have like
think
this really sweet. She's very like mousy and like
she's
quiet.
played by George Wentz's wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then like they have like let's meet back here. And then he waits forever, and then she finally shows up. And then they just drop it. Like that made me mad of like give him a recurring romance or actually make him come out of the closet. Either way, like that's what I want. I also, in terms of the character I most would want to play on the show, I would love to play Cliff.
Oh,
and you'd be great at it.
The episode where hey, slip into this and my husband hates it. The episode where he goes to the hospital because he has something wrong with him.
No one visits.
Okay.
And then no one visits
That's the other I forgot to make a note of this. Yes, How to Make Friends and Electrocute People. I watched that one too. Holy shit, his physical comedy of like
getting shocked
just multiple times, and it's just him doing that at the perfect moments, and he's giving it the perfect breath, and then it happens in rapid fire. Wow, he's amazing physically.
Yeah. And they don't ever really give him that many opportunities to do that because Cliff is a very verbally funny character. But when they give him those moments, it's so good. And also, I love it when he wears that sweater vest in Thanksgiving Orphans. It's so cute.
I remember watching How to Make Friends and Electrocute People, and like at this point, I had stopped taking notes. I just
because you were enjoying the show.
Yeah, like I stopped laughing, and I was as he was doing those twitches until he gets into that fight with that guy, and I just was like, "Wow, he's fucking dynamite."
Yeah, the entire cast. It is just a murderer's row of. I mean, like also we haven't talked about Carla literally at
all.
Rhea Perlman, amazing.
Oh my god. God.
She won a shit ton of Emmys for this. She won like 3 or something consecutive.
Oh, okay, so when I watched it in syndication, I have a very vivid memory of an episode where Carla pretends to be blind. And that there's a scene where she hands a blind person money, and they say, how do you know this is a whatever bill? And she said, I keep it in special sections of my wallet, which isn't what blind people do. They fold it different ways. Yeah. And it was revealed she was pretending to be blind. And I thought, can't wait to get to that Carla pretends to be blind episode in my binge watch. And it never came. And I'm like, it's like a Mandela effect. And I'm like, but I know it happened. And then I did a Google search. Carla pretends, and then it autofilled. And I had never searched this before. Pretends to be blind.
What the hell?
And I searched Reddit. I looked in the dark corners of the web, and I don't so I'm putting it out there. Any listeners?
Well, there's no solution yet.
What is this?
I was waiting for an answer.
Yeah. All right, yeah. If you know about this episode, email me at don'tmindpodcast or gmail.com, or reach out on Twitter and Instagram.
Geez.
Anyway, Carla is so mean, but just delightful.
She doesn't strike me as mean. She strikes me as Jewish aunt. She reminds me of my family.
Oh wow!
I'm just yeah. That I'm not.
Real.
I didn't bat an eye at her. Maybe it's the episodes I watched, but I was just yeah.
No, because you saw her.
If you can't handle it, don't start it with her.
Yeah,
that's how you deal with people like that.
She's a tough little spitfire.
Yeah,
she is. She's great. One other thing I forgot to mention. Dark Imaginings.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Woody Harrelson got me with I've come to donate an organ or something. And then Ted Danson saying, I have a hernia. And him replying with, well, if you need another one, take mine.
Yeah.
That's great writing. That's great execution. All of that was phenomenal.
That episode's great. And also,
it really was.
Ends on a downer note.
Yeah,
my mortality is a real thing.
Yeah, and he's looking out the window and it's raining. Yeah. And then Ted Danson also has great hands. And he puts his face in one of his hands. And I love when...
You've got such a particular fetish. Ted Danson body parts while still attached to Ted Danson.
But also Jeff Goldblum has great legs and hands too. So, but I don't know anyone else who does.
You only see Cliff shirtless in one episode, and it is... And I think the last season when they go to a spa I think it might be a Gary's Old Town Tavern, they go over there prank them, and they're in a spa.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, well, let me ask you guys this, because we've sucked Cheers' dick enough. I want to know, why am I apprehensive to older things? Because I want to get past that.
I mean,
because I think that's what's keeping me.
I don't know, because it is I grew up watching Nick at Night and new sitcoms all at the same time. So I'm fucking, tonight I am dressed specifically like Bob Newhart in an episode of the Bob Newhart Show.
Yeah.
Because I run a Bob Newhart style blog, and I was like, oh, I like that look. And
including the Cyclops pin.
Yeah, so I'm I gave it up and nerdied it up a little bit.
Before he became Che Guevara.
So, but white turtleneck, blue blazer, gray pants. I just love all of sitcoms kind of all at once from the 50s to now. So I don't know what to say to someone that doesn't jump in with both feet I do.
There will be jokes that you predict and some things that are dated, but also you're going to see how it has influenced everyone.
I mean, hold it. Okay. Yes, it influenced everyone. Given. That's obvious. That, I'm not even going to fight. Yes, it automatically gets that merit. I'm not going to challenge any of that. But I will say, of shows I've watched with laugh tracks, and it almost always just takes me out of it. After a while, it was acceptable with Cheers.
Yes, which is the point. The other thing that I always say to people that don't like laugh tracks is the point of a laugh track is not to tell you when to laugh, because if the show is doing its job, you're also laughing at that exact same time, and you're not going to notice it. The thing it does is it just creates the sense of familiarity and sense of space, which I think is, and also a sense of immediacy. There is there's an episode, like specifically there's an episode of Frasier. I guess like actually any bottle episode of Cheers. There is a pacing that happens when the actors, are in a physical space and they're physically moving from like one place to another, and the cameras are not dictating how they move. The cameras are following them. If you're doing like a single cam show, like the cameras are like, they're being staged to like be caught by certain angles. It'll be edited together later. But these are like, they're stage plays done without that weird uncanny valley thing of when you see like an actual stage play videotaped and it never works.
Yeah.
Like this actually does remove that middleman and makes it seem a lot more seamless. And I just think it is such a beautiful, cool thing to see live performers feeding off of that.
And you mentioned pacing. I've not seen one full episode of The Big Bang Theory. I've seen clips, and every time, like, fuck everything that this is.
God, it makes me
it's
so
the worst.
angry.
It's the worst. But
Bob Newhart did a bunch of guest spots, so I recently watched all of his episodes, and those are the only ones I've seen. And it's like, he is great, and there's such a bad show.
It's such a bad show. But, like, even that's what I think of when I think of modern laugh track, because, like, they pause for the laughter, and they're just waiting to get to the next line. But with Cheers, I noticed that they used those pauses
and
to act. Yeah.
Also, they laugh at each other.
Yeah.
And like it's like, oh, everyone enjoys it. And there's a scene in season 2, episode 17, where
you experts are on your game, by the way.
Where I forget what the question was,
but Ted's legs were
Ted's legs are great. Always, they're behind the bar in this particular scene. But he has his like ugly coffee mug that I love, that I want for my own home. And I forget the question, but everyone's like shouting suggestions. And one of the character actors, Al Rosen, yells, "Frank Sinatra." And then like people ignore him. So he yells it again. And then like you see Ted Danson like laugh and choke like into his coffee mug. And they kept that take.
Yeah.
Which is like amazing. And like, and then they'll just like show reaction shots when someone says something clever instead of like not acknowledging it. They'll like show Kelsey Grammer laughing at it or whatever. And like, it's like, yeah, because that's what you do when your friends are funny.
Yeah, you laugh.
I honestly think that you might already be there and not know it yet. Because I think like if you were watching and already like laughing at it and not even taking notes because you were laughing at it, I think that's it. I think you're never going to like get over like you're probably never going to be able to turn off the voice in your head that's like, this is old. Like, yeah, I've seen that before. And I mean, that's not the point. Yeah, the haircuts. Also, like all
I didn't give a shit about the haircuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a given, and like the clothing style, like Kirstie Alley's gigantic shoulder pads. I mean, like that comes with the
Cliff
territory.
does get a different mailman uniform in the last season.
He does.
Because they did change the uniforms. But I think that like when you do get those laughs, it feels almost doubly rewarding because it almost feels like these shows have a higher level of difficulty. Because you're watching them with like 30, 40 years more knowledge than the people back then. So when they actually do make you laugh, when they catch you off guard, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That held up.
And then also
like, that's crazy.
I didn't laugh too much at the episode The Boys in the Bar. Like the entire time I was watching that episode going like, this is probably going to be really homophobic and not okay. But like, no, they handled it okay.
Yeah.
As you were saying, Ange.
Also, when you go and rewatch the season 2 finale of The Good Place, it will mean more to you after watching all of Cheers.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Also, they changed
oh my God,
his hair for that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
To be Sam Malone hair.
Yeah. It's
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Like I squealed.
Yeah.
And cried a little.
The best thing about Cheers, I have a pitch that I'm never going to write, but it's like one of the ideas I have in my head of a thing I want to write for Decider is just like, can't we just go back to Cheers? I'm just like, there's just something, or the other one is like, Cheers already did it. Or like, the sitcom, in my opinion, was perfected. There's something intrinsic that they caught in Cheers that just feels so perfect and homey. Like when I watch it, I get these powerful feelings of camaraderie of to be when I take a step back and think back to like, well, I was on sketch teams at UCB. Like, I remember what it was like. Imagine being on Cheers. Like, imagine like
like the dream job, and then like the last two.
The level of like when you're in like season 8 of Cheers, and they're all like theoretically like loving each other. Like they used to play like basketball games together.
Yeah,
that's where like Woody Harrelson, White Man Can't Jump, like comes from. Like he was on like really good at basketball.
Oh, really?
I think like
and like they would get really competitive.
Yeah.
And like Ted Danson wanted to prove he was physically stronger, and they played like darts and pool and basketball, and Woody Harrelson, was younger and better.
To be like in the cast and be like, damn, like George Wendt is so good, but also I'm Woody Harrelson and I'm also really good, like that. But then I even take a step back and like being on the writers, like being in the writers room of this. And being on this show for 11 years, doing 24 episodes a season, sometimes more even.
Yeah.
But like loving these characters and being like, what are we going to do this week? I don't know. How's about Woody's marriage as a fucking like sex farce in a kitchen for 2 episodes?
Yeah. Like,
and it's so good.
And like Lilith, originally she showed up for like 5 minutes at the beginning of one episode. And then like the writers were like, we should get Frasier a girlfriend. And then... Like
and
they
brought
her.
That episode where they like it's on it's on TV.
Yeah, it's called Abnormal Psychology. It's I think I forget which. It's a few
4, right? Season 4, 5. I don't even know.
Well, it's a few episodes before to all the whatever. It's so good.
They basically play footsie on camera.
Like they just get wildly turned on, speaking double entendres, and the whole bar is watching. And it's great.
I thought Lilith was one of the best side characters I'd seen, and I think what it is. I love casts that are blatantly going to work and having the time of their lives. Like you take Community, Happy Endings. I know that I just used 2 very modern references, but like...
Well, Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Well, like the last 2 seasons of Cheers, they said like the writers and directors would get really frustrated with the cast because like no one was memorizing their lines. Like they had like slips of paper everywhere for people to like look at, and then like they would break all the time. Or if something worked in rehearsals and it didn't land with an audience, then they would just start laughing at the fact like a joke flopped. Which is like,
does that make it to the episode?
I'm not sure. Like you can kind of like see the with Ted Danson breaking.
For a show that goes on 11 years, which I am a very big proponent of the first 4 seasons. I think the first 4 seasons of Friends are impeccable. The last 6, I have major problems with.
Yeah, I think most shows, especially if your comedy, should end after
Frasier,
6.
But like Cheers is a show that is on for 11 years, and it does like dip a little bit in the middle. Like when Rebecca comes on, they have to like refigure out. There's a couple seasons where Sam is trying to get with Rebecca, and it doesn't work.
Rapey.
He doesn't like. It's not. They are not good together. Rebecca never really likes him back.
Yeah.
It is also like Sam should not even be trifling with this.
I know. It's like Sam.
And there are so many episodes where they realize we're really good friends. I'm like, that is the interesting dynamic. Is Rebecca and Sam being just like platonic close friends.
Also, the show, because when Rebecca comes on and the writers had to reconfigure things, it goes from being like a witty show to a wacky show.
Oh, yeah. The thing that I love about the last season is that it kind of goes for broke in the last season. And it just gets super wacky, but it's like really great in a wacky way.
Like, and I laugh out loud more in the back half than the front half, even though like I appreciated the writing more in the first half.
Yeah, I find the later seasons that the later episodes I was watching to be a lot more accessible and enjoyable than the earlier ones. But to wrap this all up, I can't lie to myself. I like Cheers. I do. It's fucking good.
Murder you.
It's good. Like to give it a number, I honestly think I will be watching some on my own now. I'd probably peg it at like a 4, positive 4 or 5. Like I'm willing to give this a shot and watch.
So nervous.
Binge watch.
It's good.
It's
good.
If you get up to that season 1 finale and what they do, and you're not in love
with Ted's legs,
and Cliff's mustache,
then I don't know what to say.
I think
And
I've been needing a good comedy to binge, and
also this is
there's
a good
a
show
lot
to
of
just
it.
put on too.
Yeah.
I'm also saying if you want to do some laundry while it's on, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean
That
at work,
nice.
I will put this on while I'm doing menial data entry shit for work. I will just put on Cheers, and that's what I have on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cheers. It's good. So all you other
you're the first one to ever say that.
No, I will actually say
I'm going on the record saying Cheers pretty good.
I'm gonna say it is so hard to convince younger kids or people under the age of 30.
I am 30.
You just turned 30.
Shut up, I'm
watch
old.
anything older than Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Friends is too dated for me.
See, it's.
But Cheers, yeah, I'll fucks with Cheers. Brett, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
So much stuff. If you want to hear more of my sitcom ramblings, please listen to my sitcom podcast, Must Have Seen TV. I did an episode about Cheers where I got drunk and talked a lot about Cliff being a canonical Speedo wearer and how much that means to me. Speaking of that, you can also go to TeePublic and search for my store and Brett White, and I have a drawing of Cliff and Norm at the beach, which you can get on a number of things. I also have a Frasier Beast design of Beast as Frasier. And you can go to cider.com, and I have articles. I have an article about how Thanksgiving Orphans is the best Thanksgiving episode of all time. I also have a really long article about Cheers' gay episode and analyzing it and criticizing it and how good it is. And probably more Cheers stuff. I write about Cheers a lot.
And where can people find you online?
And you can find me everywhere at Brett White, BRETTWHITE on Twitter and Instagram.
I like the way that you say that. It's almost like a rap. Ange Demanti.
I bake. And both men I'm in this room with have tasted what I
wedding
bake.
cake.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And I kind of want to bake in exchange for money.
You should.
So people should contact me and I'll make your birthday cake or your wedding cake or some cookies or whatever.
I will vouch for that. I'm planning on eventually doing a vegetarian episode of this podcast, and you are one of the people I'm bringing on because you are one of the few people who's cooked for me vegetarian food, and I have not missed the meat. And I eat meat in pretty much every meal. Unless I'm having cereal, but even then I might fry up a sausage for the next. Yeah. It's those empanadas you made. Angela Demanti is one of the best cooks I've ever met.
So let me cook for you, and you can follow me on social media at Someone in a Tree. That's a Stephen Sondheim reference.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it is because I'm a nerd. On Twitter or Instagram. Or just in my life. Yeah.
I would like to plug, as always, You Are Not Alone, an uplifting show about depression. Next one is Sunday, May 6th at 6 p.m. at the Magnet Theater. You can also go to Magnet Theater every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Or go over to at 5:30 to sign up for the Magnet Mixer. It's free, and I host it with the cast of You Are Not Alone. And I also give out a prize every week. That's honestly just something I found around my house that I don't need anymore. Gave out a fidget spinner tonight.
And if you want to see a great photo shoot of Ted Danson and his legs, he did one for GQ a year and a half ago, and
he still got it.
His legs.
Don't look into John Ratzenberger's personal politics.
Oh,
no! I thought you were going to say into his mustache. All right. Also, Magnet Theater, magnettheater.com, classes and shows and improv, sketch improv, all the things. Go there, magnettheater.com. You can follow me at Hey, it's Aaron Gold. God, I have to go to the bathroom. You can follow this podcast at Don't Mind Podcast. Email don'tmindpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, fuck. Some people shouted it out on Twitter, and I was going to... all right. Yeah, this is me vamping.
I can offer another tidbit about Cheers. You will only see Ted Danson half shirtless, covering his left pectoral because he doesn't have a left pectoral muscle.
What?
Yeah. He has some sort of genetic thing where I think it's his left one, where he just doesn't have
So what does it
That
do?
is bizarre.
A pec, so it's just like flat.
That is bizarre.
A pec, so it's just like flat. Anyway.
Yeah, that is weird, and I don't know what to do with that. I want to, if you leave a review on iTunes or shout out the podcast on Twitter, I'm going to say what I like about you. Richard Bacula. I like that you are blatantly Dracula, but good cover. And Fam Radio Podcast. I like that. I feel you, fam. You know, I feel at home with you because you're fam. And Brett is trying to do a selfie right now. Oh no, he nailed it. He nailed and got all three of us in there. I'm impressed. Guys, thank you for opening up my horizons.
Sometimes you want to go
where everybody knows your name.
Boom, 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 boom. And you're always glad you came on Ted Danson's legs. Thank you guys for listening, and keep on minding.